Just how healthy is your shopping basket? Why does white bread smell so much better than whole grain breads? And check out how canned food and art came together for charity. Let's get started with this week's Food News Today. If I was to analyze your grocery cart, would it be considered healthy enough? Do you pick up enough fruits and vegetables? And how are you doing with whole grains? Well, according to a recent report from the Economic Research Service, most Americans are falling a little short. The study looked at what Americans were picking up at the supermarket and how that stood up against the dietary guidelines for Americans. Overall, the study found that consumers purchased way too few fruits and vegetables and whole grains and picked up way too much refined grain, fats, and sweets. And here's the surprise. The healthfulness of the average shopping basket didn't improve much at all between the years 1998 and 2006. There was a shift towards whole grains, but less was spent on fruits and vegetables and more was spent on processed and packaged foods. Finally, the report showed that there was little racial differences in terms of healthfulness, and in addition, small differences between geographic regions and income levels. The main message for everyone is that we all have room for improving our health. Speaking of healthy choices, what do you choose, white bread or whole wheat bread? Now, the smell of freshly baked bread can be pretty hard to resist, but if you've noticed, the alluring smell tends to come more from white bread, not whole wheat bread. For the first time, researchers from the Flavor Research and Education Center at the University of Minnesota have singled out a compound that they call ferulic acid, which is found in the outer layers of wheat grain, and its existence in whole wheat bread overrides that appealing aroma that we get from white bread. With health experts pointing us all in the direction of whole wheat and most of us standing to benefit from its nutritional value, making healthy whole grains smell and taste as good as the refined option would be a big plus. Devin Peterson, the co-director of the Flavor Research and Education Center, believes that simply removing this acid from whole wheat bran is not the answer. He speculates that it too may have health benefits. Some manufacturers tackle the issue by adding salt and sugar to whole grain bread, but this too can override the health benefits. So what's next? Well, lucky for us, Devin and his team have committed themselves to finding what the solution is, and they hope that by understanding what makes whole wheat bread taste and smell the way it does, can be possible to hold on to its health benefits and keeping it yummy. Stay tuned. Now, for those of you who might live in Los Angeles or have visited Los Angeles recently, you may have been lucky enough to check out what happened here last week. It's called Canstruction. Now, groups of talented architects, builders, and engineers turned canned food into art, obviously learning from Andy Warhol's success, and then they turned the art into a great cause. In its 7th year, Canstruction is a contest created by the Society of Design Administration, where teams create structures from, what else? Canned foods. From apricots and peaches to green beans and corn, cans with anything and everything were on public display in the Farmers and Merchants Bank building. All the proceeds from the event, including, of course, the actual cans of food, were then donated to the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank. According to Michael Flood, the CEO of the food bank, after the holidays, there's typically a lull in donations. So the extra 30,000 or so cans from this event were a big help. So who were a few of the favorites this year? Well, NBBJ and Burrow Happold engineers used spaghetti rings with meatballs, kidney beans, beets, potatoes, and mixed vegetables to create the jurors' favorite, filling a growing need. When it came to the best use of labels, Steinberg Architects showed off their garbanzo beans and black beans and corn and peas and beets and potatoes and mandarin oranges and apricots and marinades for Can Day afternoon. The best meal went to PCL Construction and KPFF Consulting Engineers, who used tuna, spam, sardines, anchovies, mixed vegetables, spinach, tomatoes, tomato sauce, fruit cocktail, peaches, apple juice, and water for what else but the port of Los Angeles. Just another creative way to get support and raise money for an important and great cause. That's all for this week's edition of Food News Today. Don't forget, check out supermarketguru.com and send me a message on Facebook or Twitter. I'd love to hear from you. Food News Today is sponsored by Conagra Foods, who shares with me the desire to provide the most current, interesting, and unbiased food news. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.